and welcome to the second Raven video. Obviously, it's been a long time since I last recorded a video. It's been many few months actually, and quite a lot has happened in that short space of time. Quite a lot of significant events that have really shocked the world. We've had the Arab Spring, the death of Osama bin Laden. There's also been major economic difficulties in the Western world. We've seen the fall of Europe really is now beginning, and we're seeing opportunities for globalists to really take control at the moment, and for that globalist agenda to rise up and be the dominant source of idealism in this political map that we see right now. And there's also been a few other significant events, some of them not as major as maybe the Arab Spring and not as well documented as those events, but definitely there have been a lot of things that maybe have flown under the radar in recent weeks that haven't been reported on, and those kind of events. I'm not the kind of person who is going to sit here and reel off all the facts about these events, because personally I don't really have time to do that, to gather all the facts up and to make sure I am accurate and to make sure I'm correct. And secondly, as I stated in the introduction video, this is more about opinions and less about facts and figures and statistics, because I'm really focusing on what we as a people should be doing, or you as a people, you as the ordinary civilians, the ordinary citizens, what you should be doing to combat this really in your day-to-day life. Obviously, again, I have to apologize for the theatricality. This is all, as I explained the first time around, is to protect my identity, obviously, due to the actions that I am performing and the things that I am doing, and the risks that I am taking to combat what is going on here. And people may look at me and say, this guy right here is an idiot. He has no idea what he's talking about. Look, he's dressed in a Halloween costume, basically. But as I said before, I don't really care what assumptions you have of me. I don't care what you think or what you think you know about me, because it doesn't affect me at all. I'm going to continue doing what I do. I'm going to continue acting because I believe it's the right thing to do, and whatever you say isn't going to affect my actions. You can have an opinion on me, that's fine. I believe in open-mindedness. I believe people should be entitled to their own opinions of things, and they should look at things and question, is this the real deal or is it a lie? And that ties into everything that I'm really talking about in these videos. Okay, so let's look at the Arab Spring right now specifically, and the major coincidence that is in itself. Now, I want to tell you something. The whole of the Middle East, the main section of the Middle East, and I'm pointing to a map that's behind me. I don't know if you can see how well you can see that, but the main area of the Middle East, all the main countries, the main regions, are all crying out for democracy. Now, you have to understand that a lot of these regions, a lot of these areas, they were previously anti-Western. And all of a sudden they're seeing faults, and they're calling out saying that they're repressed and that they want change. Now, that is true. I'm not saying that these countries aren't repressed. Their countries have been stained really with blood of thousands of years of warfare and civil war, and they have had corrupt dictatorships, and They are repressed and oppressed, and I believe in what they're doing. I believe in the stand they're making against their governments, but I don't believe that it's a coincidence. Let me rephrase that. I know that it's not just a coincidence that all of these countries are suddenly rising up. That has been completely engineered. That was started on purpose. It was started for a reason. This is happening for a reason. The agenda of the globalists in the beginning was to divide and conquer the Middle East. They had some successfulness with invasions such as Iraq and Afghanistan. Iraq has now been handed over to contractors who I have had very close contact with and have seen firsthand what happens in those countries, and really it's insane what is going on, and it's so plain to see what is happening here, yet so many people are completely oblivious to it. Now, I don't want to say too much in the sense of I don't want to complicate things and make it difficult to understand, but all of these countries are connected in some way. All of them have a purpose that the globalists are have set for them. They all have their specific purpose, and they're all useful in different ways, and that's why it is very, very good for the Western interests that they are crying out for democracy, obviously. But we also have to take into account the other side of the world in, the East. We have the rise of the Chinese economy, while the Western economy is declining. Now, that's a very significant factor, even when we're talking about the Middle East, because it then leaves the question of where is the power going to end up eventually in the end. Now, this may be 50 years from now, but still, everything, like I've said before, everything that is happening now, everything that is happening today, this very moment, is affecting tomorrow, and people need to act now. There's no time to lose, there's no time to waste. Every waking moment, we lose valuable time. We only have short time on this earth, and we need to stop focusing on ourselves at times and just really act on something to make a difference, to make a change, and to not be selfish, because there, like I've said before, things are going to happen, more things are going to happen. This is far and above you. It's even far and above me. I cannot stop what is happening no matter how hard I try, because if you take one of the leaders out, someone else will take their place. It's just a cycle. These ideas will come into fruition eventually. These ideas do not die with time. They carry on, they evolve into new ideas, into fresh things, and people will always carry out this agenda. It will survive, and that is why we cannot stop it completely, but we can do something about it. And what we can do, like I've said before, what we can do and what it's all about is about spreading the truth. It's about waking people up. It's about showing them that there's more to life than what they see with their own eyes in front of them. It's about looking beyond the surface. It's about seeing more, and it's about doing more with your life than just the normal day to day, because let me tell you this, it is a big universe, and we don't know half the things that happen. We don't know what's hidden from us. We don't know what's kept from us. The government could know hundreds and thousands of things, and they do, about things that we don't have a clue about. Now, some people have tried to get this information out at times, and they have just been labeled crazies. They've been labeled conspiracy theorists, and they've been just called out and outcasted from the world, when we should have welcomed them in. we shouldn't have believed them straight away, but we should have had open minds to look and to think, well, what if this is true? What if what they're saying is real? What if this can happen? You need to look at the possibilities and not always shut things off and shut things down and say, no, that's wrong. Well, you can't just say something's wrong unless you've got the evidence to prove that it's wrong. And I think a lot of people know that, but some people are just too quick to cut things off and say, no, that's not right. I don't believe in that. It's okay to believe in things, but it's not okay to force your beliefs on anyone either, but you need to have an open mind. You need to see and really see, not just pretend. You need to look and experience things. It's better to take things into account rather than cutting things off. My personal way of doing this is to take everything you hear into account, both sides of the story, take them both into account, and then you will have all the information laid out in front of you, and you will be able to decide rather than just sticking to one side and saying, nope, this is the right side, I'm sticking with this, I'm not going to believe anything else. Now, I'd say that's one of the major problems with us as human beings is we've been grounded in our own reality. We're grounded in a false reality. We think that, oh, this can't happen and oh, that can't happen because science says it can't happen and all these things. But how much do we really know in the end? How far does science go? After all, it's only human knowledge. We do not own this universe. We are not. I don't believe we're the only people here. I don't believe it's too big to know what else is out there. You can't just be closed-minded and just live in a bubble because you're living on a floating rock in the middle of nowhere. You have to wake up and see that. I don't understand how people can get up every day and just think, "Oh, yep, this is my life. This is I'm just gonna live for about 80 years, maybe not even that, depending on what happens. And this is just it. I'm gonna work so I can provide for my family, and that's it. I'm not really gonna do anything else." But you know, I'm not criticizing people here. I'm just saying that's just the way the life is for the average human being. That's just it. But people need to see that there's more than that. There's a purpose. There's things that people need to do with their lives, but they just need to open their mind and see it, open their eyes and see what's there, and they need to grasp it and hold on to it, and really, really just, you know, do something. That's the important thing, is to do something, no matter what it is. Just do something that makes a change to other people's lives. And it's not always about focusing on other people. I do talk about, putting others before yourself a lot. Sort of a very, maybe a pacifistic view, or a monk type view, or a Christian kind of view where you put others before yourself. But I'm not talking about being completely selfless necessarily. I mean, it would be good to be like that, but obviously you have to take care of your own family, you have to take care of yourself. There's honor and values and all those things, but people need to focus on other people at some point and not just always themselves. And it's the fault of the media, it's the fault of the Western world as it stands today that we only care about ourselves. We want what we want now, we want it as quickly as possible, and then we'll just, when we're done with it, we just throw it on the ground. It's like we don't even care anymore. We don't care about our roots, about our origins. We don't care about taking care of things or taking care of the world. We just deal with the consequences later. That's the problem. And that's the problem with the government. That's the problem with businesses. It's the problem with every fundamental thing in the Western world is, let's just deal with the consequences later. We'll try and just patch things together. We'll try and work things out. But if it all goes wrong, if we know we're heading for a fall, let's just leave it till later. But that's the problem with the Western world.